Hey up, my ducks. It's Friday, the 15th of July. It's rather warm here in the UK. It's going to get a lot warmer, so they tell us. But welcome to, I think, episode 119. No, 19 of the Pro Synth Network live show. It's hot. I'm just going to... So I've just realised I took my shorts off and they're in the background there, so I apologise for that. It's hot, okay? Yes, anyway, we're live, and welcome to everyone that's watching on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter. We're all over those, so if you prefer to use one of those, feel free, but YouTube's the best one. Before we get into everything else, let me just remind you, of course, that please do, if you like the show, hit that button. You can comment either in the chat, which is over there, I think. You can subscribe if you haven't already and hit that bell to get notifications. And of course, there we go. Thank you very much. Oh, he's got a new toy. He's going to be really annoying, isn't he? I could do that as well. So we're going to turn into one of those cheesy American radio shows, aren't we? Live at 95.FM. Meh, 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 meh. Anyway. This is great.
Kent's doing his analog.
Kent is genuinely analog. We'll cut to him in a second. Yes, like, comment, subscribe,
Peace,
share. Donate money to us if you'd like to keep us on the air. Please do. You can do that through the PayPal link, which is just there on the screen. It's also in the description down below. And of course, you can use super chat, super stickers, and the thanks button if you're watching on catch up. If you want to donate money to our cause and keep us on the air even longer than we really ought to be, let's be fair, you can contact us and follow us on all of the social platforms, Twitter and Instagram and Facebook and YouTube, and it's all the same at Pro Synth Network. You could probably tell we don't have a special guest because normally we're a bit better behaved when we have company in the room. So we don't have a special guest today. So if you have any questions, they'll be for just myself, Ben, and Kent. Just stick a Q in the front of it just to help us pick it out. Otherwise, they can fly by and we miss them, and we wouldn't want you to be upset. No elaborate introductions, I don't think, today because we're all here. Hello, everyone. Ben,
hello.
Kent, how are you, gentlemen? Are you well?
Yeah, I am.
Yeah,
I'm not.
yeah.
I'm not as warm as you are. It's not actually that nice up north.
It's grim
at
up
the minute.
north, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a bit overcast, and it's not. You wouldn't really want to sit outside, but you could do. Like, it's just a little bit chilly.
Yeah, it's to be fair, the breeze has picked up a little bit, so it's not too bad.
Well, I'm inside anyway because my Mac studio thing came today, and that's
nice?
what I'm using now. So if I seem a bit quicker than usual, it's because I'm getting a bit of help.
You've got the M1. What is it? M1 what in there? Max?
Yes. Yeah, it's the Max. I felt that the Ultra was a little bit too much money, really.
Yeah, quite.
If it was only a couple of £100 more, I would have got that. But it's twice the price, isn't it? So. Yeah, but it seems really good off first impressions.
Nice.
We'll see how it shapes up tonight.
Yeah, keep it turned off on Monday and Tuesday because it's going to be really stinking hot.
Oh yeah,
I'm going to bin work off for those 2 days.
I've been having terrible computer problems anyway. So the album that we were making for Electromantics has vanished off Dropbox. We've lost everything, and no. Getting in touch with Dropbox, they don't know how it's vanished. They don't know where it's gone. They're looking into it. They can't find a folder ever called that, and it's just there's no log of anybody ever deleting it, but it's not there anymore. So
Gutted. So you have got no other copy anywhere?
Well, this is where I misunderstood the actual concept of Dropbox and thought that everything was local to my computer as well as being up there, and then local to everybody else's computer who was using that thing.
Yeah, synchronized and everything.
But it vanished. It vanished off Dropbox and went off my computer as well.
Wow.
Unless it was me that deleted it, but it's gone off everybody else's, and also we've all lost it.
I have to admit, I gave up with Dropbox a while back, and only because we use it at work, I started using Box. just called Box, and it seems a lot more stable.
Yeah.
Maybe that's because we use enterprise versions, so it's maybe I don't know.
Yeah.
But it's backing up is something I do. I go crazy. I've got like I will back up to a particular drive, and then I've got a RAID drive that I then copy things to, and it then backs up, on there. So if one of those drives goes, the other one's okay, and shove everything on the cloud, and terrible.
I think I'm going to have to do that in future. I've learned a bit of it, especially after talking to Christy last week as well.
Oh God! Well,
yeah,
absolutely.
She was like full of horror stories, and then I came away from that and had my own.
I think the worst backup policy you can have is not to have a backup policy. You've just got to do something.
You've got to do something.
Yeah. So anyway, well, hopefully it'll turn up because we want to hear that. We want to hear that.
Yeah.
How about you, Ken? What have you been up to this week? Anything interesting?
I've been slaving over a hot 80 all week.
Nice.
How about anything different from the norm? Did you get the card reader on the GS1 fixed?
My my thingy didn't turn up today.
Oh, okay.
So no, there's been no progress with that. It's back on it tomorrow. Yeah, I mean, what have we done this week, Sari? Anything in particular? Oh, you ruined this bloody swimming pool.
Oh yeah, how did you patch the holes?
Yeah. It feels really weird going into a shop saying, "Can I have 10 punch repair kits, please?" So, yeah, no, Nellie's been biting it. Long story. Anyway, yeah, no, it's been actually just business as usual. I think really just warmer.
Yes, and it's only going to get worse, so they say. Yes.
What about you, Rob? You been up to anything?
No, not really. I mean, I've been doing the day job and stuff. I was supposed to do a podcast interview this week, but had to call that off because it was the heat and I got a real kind of bad pressure headache. It felt like there was a storm coming. It didn't arrive, but my head was just like pounding. So I sort of postponed that till next week. But I've been booking guests, and we've got some good ones. We'll let everyone know about later on. Some good stuff coming, and 2 nights this week I've been with him up there.
Oh yeah,
on his show, and didn't get to bed till 3 o'clock this morning. So that I'm going to be paying for that. But
do you think it looks like a demon in Donnie Darko?
Does a little bit, yeah.
Look at the monitor.
She's no demon. Bless her.
It's you stalking me. Thank you.
Yeah.
Bless. So I'm just actually looking forward to this weekend. Not actually having to go anywhere or do anything or meet anyone. We've just got my eldest is coming over with his missus. We're going to have a barbecue out the back, and I've got loads of beer in the fridge. And then Sunday, nothing. I'm just going to sleep in, and it'd be nice to actually have a weekend completely to myself. So went to saw ABBA last weekend, which was awesome.
Oh right, yeah.
It was incredible. I spoke about it on Kent's show, but for those that weren't around, just go. Buy tickets, go. Don't care, just go. It's the most amazing experience that you'll have in 90 minutes without, involving a member of the sex that you choose to prefer.
Said the man doing a show with no cax on.
Yes, indeed. Well, no, I do. No, I have something on. I'm not sitting here commando. Okay. But it is incredible fun.
Nowhere near as exciting.
No, it really isn't. Betty Swallocks. She's been hanging around the last few weeks.
Don't we know? Don't we know?
No, so it's not really. No, not been doing much. So yeah, but no, chatting to some lovely people and arranging guests and things. So some really good stuff. Some exciting people coming on the show. Talking of which, and I'm going to do this now before I forget, because I know I'll forget because I'm absolutely useless. But I did promise Dominic, Mr. Wiggly, to give a plug to his show this Sunday, because he's got the granddaddy of all synth podcast hosts on his show, Mr. Nick Batt. He's going to be Dom's guest this Sunday from 7 p.m. UK time with the infamous Mr. Wiggly show and Luna May's quiz and the whole charity fundraising thing.
Lula May did a portrait of me. I haven't
had one. I need to sort that out.
I haven't showed it to anyone yet. It's fantastic. It is fantastic.
Make that your thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, so in case I forget at the end of the show, there you go. I've done it, so I won't feel guilty afterwards. But I always try and mention all the other shows that are on air throughout the week, which I know we all kind of go around and hang around and support. So yeah, but that's going to be a good one because it's going to kind of be like a role reversal, and it'll be Dom interviewing Nick. And Nick's a dead interesting guy, super lovely, charming, fantastic. Talented, hard-working individual. Always a pleasure to see him. Met him at Gearfest, and we had, it was always a pleasure, never a chore. So do join Mr. Wiggly, Dominic, 7 p.m. Sunday UK time on YouTube. Mr. Wiggly. There you go. Right,
I'll be watching that one myself.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
If I'm
It'll
away.
cost me money.
Yeah, it does.
Yep.
Okie dokie. Right, let's do some news. There's not a huge amount this week, but we've got some time because we don't have a guest this week, as you might have noticed. We just thought, sod it. We've got some great people coming up, so we'll just do this one, and we could spend a bit of time waxing lyrical about some of these things. And this was the first thing that caught my eye, and at first glance, I actually think, I thought this was quite a great idea. The more I think about it, maybe not so much, especially after what you said last night, Kent. But we'll come on to that. So this is it's a new hardware MIDI controller for Mini Moog Model D VSTs. So it gives you full control over any Mini Moog VST with 44 controls in a 1-to-1 layout. Or you can use it as a hackable MIDI USB device, and it's essentially, it's a Mini Moog layout, so it's incredibly familiar, and it's on a Kickstarter. If you want to join the Kickstarter, they had the early birds and they've got out of the way, but super early bird. The current early bird are still available. There's only 10 more of those. Only 5 more of those left actually. At £190, that's €224, so it'll be about the same in dollars, I think. After that, it goes up just a little bit, but not too much. And it has 21 analog potentiometers, 6 six-stage knobs, 15 toggle switches, 2 lever switches, 3 LED indicators, 44 controls in total. It's a USB connection, and it's been tested and compatible with, so far, Arturia's Mini V, Monarch, the Native Instruments version, the UAD Mini Moog, and GeForce's Mini Monster. Although it does say elsewhere that it's compatible with all of them, but I don't know. Anyway, still, do we need a fancy, elaborate fiberglass reinforced, laminated, plated with real gold MIDI controller for our Mini Moog plugins?
I like the idea. GeForce tried it ages ago with one for the Imposca, didn't they? I don't know who was involved in that. Was it GeForce?
Some prat.
Some idiot. Absolutely.
Some idiot. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Somebody tried it a while back, and I thought it was a good idea then.
So did he.
But what I like about it, I can understand where the criticism's coming from, because if you've got a controller, you can do this. You can map the controls to anything. But what I hate about, like, I've got this Keylab thing here, and when something's a switch, because there's no switches, you've got to assign it to a knob, and that means that you've got to 100% turn the knob to the right to have the switch on, and 100% turn the knob to the left to have the switch off.
Yeah.
Now this has got proper switches on it, and that I think it would just be like using a Mini Moog, and I quite like the idea. I wish it was more versatile in that it could be rack mounted or whatever. I don't know if it can, but it doesn't look like it can to me, the design of it. But yeah, I think it's a good idea. I didn't see that part of Kent's show last night where you thought it wasn't a good idea, but...
Well, what it was Kent pointed out that if you want a Model D synthesizer with a Model D interface, how much is the Behringer Model D?
Yeah.
It's maybe $100 more, and you can see where, I don't know. It's funny. I like hardware controllers that are kind of dedicated, but then they are a one-trick pony, and they're taking up a bit of space on your desk. So I guess this is, I don't know.
It's kind of the reason that we go in the box.
You see, the other thing, I mean, I don't know too much about the inside of that, but to have a 32-way or a 64-way CC controller is a done technology. There's no R&D involved in this thing at all.
No.
It's just like, do that, right, okay, boom, done. Map out the CC to the knobs so that it works with the software. And there's not a lot to it. After the debacle of doing the Impostor controller, if I was to do another controller now, I'd want to be making it for 29 quid and sell it for 99 quid after boxing and shipping and crap and stuff like that. So the price of it is too close to a hardware one that's already available. That it's not that it's a bad idea, it's that he's trying to make something that is relatively, without taking anything away from him in the deepest respect, but it's a piece of piss to do.
Yeah.
And it's too close to a piece of hardware you can just nip down the road and buy.
Yeah. Well, as Sasa just pointed out, 255 for a Behringer Model D. So
there you go. And then you've got the synth engine in it already.
Yeah. And I've never actually tried one, but those that I've spoken to that have say that Behringer Model D is very, very good. And
there's
close.
there's no two ways about it. It's very good, and for the money, it's absolutely excellent.
Yeah, exactly. Why would you?
I will whip for myself later.
So I don't know. It's they've got some nice stretch goals. It sounds a bit weird saying that, doesn't it?
It also says that they're working on a CS80 style controller as well, doesn't it?
Did they? I didn't see that.
I think it's right near the bottom, I think. Unless I've imagined it.
Well, that saves me the job.
I think it said that they've got other things in the pipeline for the future, and this includes a CS80 style controller. I can't remember where I saw it, but pretty confident I did.
If we can find it, I'll pick it out. So stretch goals. If they can hit 16,001, they'll make open source hardware. If they hit 17,000, they'll add 3.5mm TRS MIDI, not just USB MIDI. If they hit 20,000, they will do a Eurorack compatible model, and then a white gold version if they get 25 grand. So it's an interesting sort of set of stretch goals there.
A Eurorack version.
A Eurorack version. So I guess
to operate software on a computer. Okay, I think when we were first doing the controller, it was the general idea of we want knobs to control stuff on the screen. Cool.
Yeah.
And then we talked so how are we going to do this? What are we going to do with this? And it got bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger and more elaborate and stupid. Then we brought it back to what we thought was sensible, which turned out to still be elaborate and stupid. And I think they're at that stage, but they're actually going for it now.
Yeah.
But they're going, we could do this and we could do this and that.
I think it's what this does show is that you can produce a MIDI controller for a specific plugin at a pretty reasonable price. A couple of $100 is not, it's not too bad for a well-made MIDI controller. The problem is, if you end up buying MIDI controllers for all your favourite plugins, you're going to be taking up a lot of space, and I don't know how practical that is. And those companies that have produced controllers or controller components that you could plug together to make your own custom controllers. They ain't cheap.
No.
What are those ones that they're magnetized and they stick together, and you can have sliders and big buttons and dials and knobs and
the stickle brick one, whatever it was.
Yeah, I can't remember what the name is. And I looked in because I saw, I think it was on one of the Spitfire audio things, and they've got one of their custom configuration, one of theirs, and I thought, oh, that looks nice. How much is that? Oh,
yeah. Well, it's weird because most of these plugins they communicate on the MIDI level pretty much identically. You should be able to have one box with X amount of knobs and just overlays that you buy for a tenner for each type of plugin, and you just drop it on, and when you go to the track it senses which instrument you're connected to, or you tell it or whatever.
Well, we looked at one ages ago, didn't we, Ben, on here, that had, you hosted the plugin inside this thing, and it had knobs and switches all around the edges, didn't it? That all were mapped into the thing.
Yeah.
So that was
like a really good idea, but we never heard any more about it. So.
No.
Getting plugins into the box itself, you run into hideous licensing issues.
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
That's the thing.
It
Even
looked
if you're
like a modern
friends with the
version.
people who own the software company, it's still it's a nightmare.
Because it looked like a very modern version of the PPG Realize, the thing that killed PPG off, which was way ahead of its time. But no, it's an odd one, isn't it? Because I see that Imposca controller and think, oh, that's gorgeous. I'd love one of those to mess around with an Imposca with.
That's not what a lot of people are saying when it came out.
Yeah.
Well, actually, they did. They'd say it was gorgeous, and then they go, Hellfire, how much?
Yeah, true. But I wonder if there's a way, there must be at some point, of coming up with an affordable technology that, almost like a Lego, okay?
Yeah.
Stick with me with this. So you have like a base, and then you have a bucket of rotary knobs, sliders, switches, and you just pop them, like magnetized, and they just pop onto this thing, and you can just lay them out exactly how you want to, and the surface underneath knows what's been put on top, and so it knows how to interpret that, and then you come up with a configuration document that has all the mappings of the controller numbers to the functions, and I'm sure that the manufacturer could provide those, and then you just like zap it in, and away you go. Then you've got your custom controller, and then if you want to then just move things around to use with your next instrument, you've still only got this one thing on your desk, and you can just plonk a whole bunch of different things on, which is
you see, technically you've described what that Imposca controller already is. It's just that we never marketed it kind of that way. I mean, I can control Spitfire audio software with that. I can control OBE with that. I can control anything I want. But if you put an overlay on it, and then it's that controller. Admittedly, we've got the blue mahogany on there, so it makes it a bit difficult. But the idea was to take that idea and then make it into a controller that is completely generic, that can do anything at all. Yeah. And but we ended up being bankrupt and chased by the police. But
So our friend Mike Metley is saying that something like that, what I've just described, exists. So I don't know if he's referring to those blocks that I was talking about earlier with the knobs and sliders that you kind of bolt together.
The trick is being able to make it cheap enough.
Yes, exactly.
To make people want it. So a company like, I don't know, Native Instruments, go and do it. Or
he's giving me a link.
Or Roland, or whoever, a company with a few quid behind them, because you're going to have to make quite a lot of them so you can make them cheap enough.
Yeah.
Behringer, even, there you go.
Oh, I see. Yeah. So here we go. It's called the Mine S from a company called Special Waves.
Oh yes.
Let me just bring this up. because we're in casual show mode. We can just do this.
Yeah, it's just whatever.
Yeah, whatever you like, we bring it up. It's fine. Everybody's happy. There we go. Minus. So
there she is.
Ooh.
Yeah.
So it's 139 quid.
Yeah.
For the case, and yeah, it's got the contact. And so then I guess, there you go. So that's
Yeah.
All right.
so yeah, that's the sort of thing that I was thinking of. So yeah, clearly I'm not crazy. There you go. So Minus Pro bundle, and it's that's not ridiculously expensive when you think what you're getting. It's a bit smaller than I had imagined. I thought maybe there's something, it could be a bit bigger than that. But I was just assuming that, and I'm sure Mike will tell us, you just, slap one of those faders in anywhere on that grid, and it knows it's the fader and will behave accordingly, and the same with everything else.
Yeah. But that was always going to be the trick with the Imposca, with the Touch Digital one, was because nobody uses just one plugin in a set. So as you go from track to track, it should be able, although the actual physical knobs and switches and everything don't move, the assignments to that overlay is always there, if you see what I mean. So you put the overlay on and boom, you're done. And it always, sometimes it sounds a bit iffy. But if you were to replace the overlay with more of literally like a display almost, so because there used to be that thing, wasn't there, where you had a knob and you put it on the screen,
yes, and
then it would turn whatever it is wherever you put it,
on the iPad.
So if you have a like a giant iPad literally and it only just shows whatever VST you're going to, as you go through the tracks, it changes, and this all changes, and you just move the knobs. But it's a lot of knobs you're going to have to move around.
Yes.
There never seems to be. There's always something that's sort of like, but you can't do that because when it comes to genetics, and if there was an industry standard, for instance, in how plugins were done, then but there isn't. So what was it you wanted to say?
Who, me?
Apart from Pam, no, him.
Oh no, him, Siri. Yeah.
Oh, sorry, her. Sorry.
What about this new clap plug-in thing? This is supposed to offer a new standard, isn't it? Maybe this is where it could be all tied together.
I've yet to. I know that there are clap builds of certain instruments, Dexed being one, but I don't have a clap compatible. I think they really ought to have thought of a better name for it.
Yeah.
Have you got the clap? So, I mean, it's supposed to be, the next big thing.
Well, like I said, from what I found, you can't seem to have a what's the word? A meaningful relationship with the controller and the instrument you're controlling if it's in a generic format.
Yeah.
You need it to
we didn't have these
look
problems
like what you're playing.
Plugins.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
This is why hardware is still a thing, I suppose. But there you go. So that is. That was the Special Waves Minus. If you want more information on that, it's special-waves.com, and you can build and buy your own. And of course, before that, we were talking about the 001 Model D, which is this Kickstarter thing. And if you want to find out more about that, it is delta-midi.com. I'm sure Sass is on the ball with his links in the chat. So yeah, delta-midi.com. If you want to know more about that, and if you want to contribute to the Kickstarter, I'm sure they'll be very grateful. So, right, that's those things done. Let's talk about a bit of software. So there's a brand new version. I was amazed at this. I hadn't heard of this for ages, and I was amazed that this thing is still going. Music Maker from Magix has just been updated to a new version. And is promising to be, a really powerful, simple way of creating your music. I always thought of it as kind of like a building blocks type thing, and maybe the snob in me was always thinking this is cheap and cheerful, paint by numbers music making tool. But looking through, it's actually, it seems quite a powerful little piece of gear. And there is a free version of it, which gives you the Beatbox, 3 instruments, 11 effects, and 8 tracks. Then there's the Plus version, which is only $59.99, gives you unlimited tracks, more instruments, more effects. And then there's the Premium version, which is $99.99. So that discounted price is valid until the end of the month, which gives you everything, which is, again, not an awful price to pay. But I've never used it because I've always looked at it as a bit of a toy. But has anybody ever dabbled with this?
No.
I've not dabbled with this one. It's a bit like you say. It's the snobbery, isn't it? But I'm a snob, but I'm also willing to do whatever it takes to get where I want to go. So I will.
I've heard about people like you.
I will, let me standards go at a drop of an hat. You know what I mean? It depends how good it actually sounds. If it sounds really good, then I'd be in. How much is it?
Well, the full version, the Pro version, is only $99.99.
Yeah.
And then the standard version is $59.99, and there's a free version, which gives you sort of a limited sort of stuff. But
do you think it offers anything more over GarageBand or something like that?
Yeah, that's the thing. GarageBand is such a good. I mean, for Mac users, it is such a good thing these days. But for the price, it's not awful. And if you are looking to get started in using a DAW, then I don't know. This could be the way in. I was just trying to see the full here we go. There's the full specifications. I was just wondering if you can control, MIDI import. It's got fast file formats. It does seem a very much in the box kind of thing. It's not a full blown DAW by any stretch of the imagination, but you can mess around with it. And it is, I believe, Windows only. I think.
Oh, is it?
I think so. Yeah. Windows only.
Sorry, Ben.
Well,
must be.
And they've got a Mac on the picture as well.
Well, it's the generic Mac-like, but it's essentially a Mac, isn't it? Without the badging.
No, that's the Asus. That is.
But it's Windows only.
Wow.
But
that's why I didn't try it. Yeah.
I wonder if this is. I mean, I know that my son does music tech at school, and he's just finished his GCSEs. He's about to do it at A level, and they've got iMacs all around the room, and they're all running GarageBand and Logic, and I think Ableton Live as well. Yeah. So it's not like but if you've got young kids, maybe this is a great way to get them into using a computer to make music, and then progress to something else. But it does seem very much like like kit based.
I think, like you're saying though, Rob, I think a lot of schools and that now, because of the way Apple's been marketed, whether it's right or wrong, want the Apple stuff in these suites. They open a new music suite, they want it kitted out with Apple gear, because that's what's going to take the best photographs, that's what's going to look the most impressive in the newspaper and everything. That's just the way that it's marketed.
Yeah.
And I think that they're making a pretty big mistake having Windows only, because it would be a great educational tool. You could have it, all the students could have it. You could have it in the schools itself.
Sounds like they've already got more than they need. I mean, I don't know about you, but when I was at school, the closest we ever got to music, they used to get like those single noted glockenspiel things, metal ones. Yeah, you get one each, and you had to take it in turn to play the song. Yeah, that was it.
We used to have a
GarageBand, is it?
We used to have a computer club, right?
Yeah,
and they used to wheel this big telly out on a trolley. It was about 6 foot high, and you'd wheel it out, and underneath was a Commodore VIC-20, and we'd sit and play chess at Computer Club. And that was the only access we had, any of us had, to a computer up until about, the iMac, I reckon. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm slightly older than you. Computer Club was where you go to a club and they show you pictures of computers.
This is what a computer looks like.
Yes.
One day you might be big enough to play with one.
And it's something from like 1946 or something.
Yeah. I can't remember. We didn't have computers at the first high school I went to, but the second one they had a computer room, and the computer room had a small side room, and in there was a Research Machines 380Z, it looked like a Fairlight because it had the big mainframe unit with the floppy disk drives, and it had the big metal alphanumeric keyboard with those big hall switches and stuff. And it ran a Z80 processor, and then at the back of the class they had a Commodore PET and a VIC-20 and I think a ZX81. That was cutting edge stuff back then. It really was.
Yeah.
And then the BBCs all started coming in sort of just as I was sort of getting too old for it all. And I got my Commodore 64. I was happy. I had Jet Set Willie and Manic Miner and Electro Sound.
I was never a Commodore 64 user. I was always ZX Spectrum.
You were Specky.
Spectrum. I loved it till the day I die.
Oh.
And then the Amiga came out and everything changed then.
That's it, yeah. That's it. Yes. But there you go. So Music Maker, I mean, yeah, it's kind of music by numbers. It's all kind of loop-based stuff. Maybe it's a gateway for some people, either on limited budgets or maybe younger people looking to sort of just dip their toe into sort of rudimentary electronic music making. Yeah, but I just completely forgot. I thought this company had gone the way of the dodo many years ago, and then I saw this pop up and thought,
are there any videos of it?
No,
in
there
use?
isn't.
No,
there isn't. Unfortunately, so. Yeah, but there you go. Magix Music Maker is available now. There's a free version, and then there's $59.99 and $99.99 for the Pro. So yeah, go and fill your boots.
Can you? Is it just? Hang on, I should have looked into this a bit more. I'm just asking questions instead of coming up with any answers. But can you put your own VSTs into that?
No.
So it just comes with samples.
So yeah, so basically it can handle any kind of audio file, whether it's AF, FLAC, MP3, OGG, WAVs. It can also handle MIDI data as well, video data, AVIs, WMVs and MXVs. But that's it. The instruments that come with it are the instruments that you use. That's it. There's no plugins or anything. It's just a standalone thing that just does what it does, and
like Gadget or something like that.
Yeah, that sort of thing.
Yeah.
So, but
It's all right for the money, I suppose.
Yeah, I say there'll be a market for it, I'm sure, because there always tends to be. All right, let's see. Oh, this is just an interesting little tidbit of news. I think I've made my mind up now. So I wanted a Prophet 5 Rev 4, an OBX8, or the Groove Synthesis third wave, and I can't have all of them. I can't even have two of them. It's going to have to be one, and then that's a push. However, the good news is now that the lovely folks at Groove Synthesis have now submitted the third wave for European certification, the CE certification, which allows it to be sold within the European Union and other places around the world that recognise the CE mark. It's just basically, to make sure it's safe and legal and conforms with all the standards. So that's good news, because it was only going to be sold out of America, so you have to buy it there. But once they've got this approval and got that badge on the back of the machine, that opens the way for UK, European, Asian distribution and all of that kind of stuff as well. So it's good news. They're making progress. They've gone very quiet. There's not been a lot. There's been maybe one or two videos sneak out over the last few weeks, but that's what I want. I think I've decided now.
It is a thing of beauty. Out of the three that you mentioned, Kent, Which would you want?
OB8.
Ah. I was going to say we could get one each.
Yeah, I always have to be contrarian-wise. Always.
Yeah. Yeah. It is a fantastic looking thing. It sounds really nice. I think they're onto a good thing there with that. It's definitely it's a tribute to it done in the right way, isn't it? It's not a rip off. It's a reimagining of that machine.
It's
really.
everything and more, isn't it?
Yeah.
Really.
Yeah.
I just kind of sat here thinking, every time I turn on the Polybrute, I just think, yeah, that ticks all my boxes for an analog polysynth. I know the OBXA's got a couple more voices, and it's an Oberheim, and I know that the Prophet Rev 4, you can have the 5 or the 10, and it's a Prophet, and it has that sound. But the Polybrute, I think I've got to cut something out. And what I don't have, I do have an Argonate, but I don't have a really kind of powerful wavetable synth. So I've kind of that's my reasoning. Oh, shut up! You're messing.
I
with
don't
me
think
now.
I've got any more room.
No, well, there's that as well.
Simple as that.
Well, I saw the Prophet 5. Actually, the Prophet 5 was about as big as I thought it would be, which isn't that big. It's kind of it's a compact machine. The OB8 or OBX8 was, that was nice and solid and chunky. And this doesn't look to be too small. But it's finding a place for it. Something would have to go. I know what I'd get rid of now. I would probably get rid of my Alesis Fusion. Finally.
Yeah.
Probably give that to the boy. Let him have that for his music courses. Yes.
Yeah, because I'm thinking of handing off my Sledge special edition. It's not getting enough use, basically.
Yeah.
Technically, give it a dust, it's brand new.
Yeah.
Really.
Yeah. So Groove Synthesis, making moves, getting the European CE certification underway. So that should take a few weeks, and then hopefully we'll start to see some distribution channels open up for that. Although they did warn me when I spoke to Bob Coover, he said, you can buy one now. Give us a deposit, and we'll get you one of the first batches out. I'm like, I haven't even got the deposit, let alone the full price. But he said if you do it now, you'll probably get the best price, because as soon as you start having to ship them to Europe and paying duties and taxes and distribution, they've got to add some money on. The price will go up from, I think it was $3,795 US, wasn't it? So you're probably going to be looking more in the region of what the Oberheim OBX8 is. So it's a shame, but there you go. Matt's just got a question here. What did Mike Lindup have to say about the Prophet 5 at Gearfest? I don't know, because I wasn't hanging around him at the time. But I do believe either one of Jim Glue, Andy Brooks, or Ian Cole might have been lurking in the room. They might be able to tell you. Although it might have been after Andy Brooks broke the Pro 5. Although he claimed he didn't break it and it was something to do with micro tuning. I'm not at all convinced.
To be honest with you, my experience with Prophet 5s, it was probably going to break anyway.
Harsh.
True.
Yeah, but true. So I don't know. I imagine. I don't know if he's got one. He might have one already. But there's somebody else that I'm working on to try and get on the show. Mike Lindup. He'd be very cool to get on.
Very good.
God, it's still daylight.
I know. It was daylight when I went to bed this morning. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, like that was my fault, was it?
Yeah, it was. 3 o'clock in the morning.
I finally got everything up and running, got into the chat room and everybody had gone.
I saw that. Yeah, I was making me brew to take to bed and everything. It was like blink on the iPad, and I looked down. He gets this blank picture with just the owl in the corner. He goes, "That's what I'm getting, mate." Yeah. Oh, sorry, Ben.
No. Wow.
Ian's just said that it wasn't him. It was Andy Brooks was there when Mike was there, and of course I don't think Andy's going to be around. Oh no, he said he was going to pop in. So yeah, just have a look for Andy in the chat room, Matt, and then hassle him. But I do believe it was after Brooks had broken it. So
Brooks has broken it.
Yeah, as John says, broken by Brooks.
Yes.
Yeah. Very
Brooks
nice.
the Destroyer. It's going to go on and on and on, that one. Right, so there you go, Groove Synthesis, lovely machine. I cannot wait. I hope I haven't heard anything, but I'm hoping there'll be one at Synthfest in Sheffield in October.
Same one.
Yeah, I really want to play it and steal it, have it for my own. Yes.
I'd have to be with Ken. I'd have to go for the OB.
Yes, really. You've got all those other analog synths.
I know.
You've got.
Yeah,
Haven't you got the
there's a
OB6?
reason for that.
No, I haven't got the OB. I haven't got
okay.
any Oberheims. That's all. I've been after like a matrix of some kind for years. I can never find the right one. But now this has come along. It's all you've got to do is find that amount of money, and you can have a brand new one. You know.
Well, I got two OBXs, three OBXAs, and an OB8, but they're not mine.
Yeah.
So, but if I do want to use one,
Yeah.
technically I don't need any keyboards at all.
No, indeed. But again, if you want that OB sound, I mean, OBE and the SEM from GeForce are really ticking the boxes, aren't they? So
Yeah.
And it takes up a lot less room.
yeah, and it's a lot cheaper.
And in
lot
this weather,
cheaper.
it's a lot cooler as well.
Yes.
You don't want loads of synths heating up your room. do you?
Yeah,
Absolutely.
the 80's not going on for another 2 months.
I know. Crazy, isn't it? Anyway, right, so that's Groove Synthesis out of the way. Let's see. This is new from IK Multimedia, announced yesterday. And this is quite an interesting expansion pack for their Sampletank 4 instrument. And it's called Beat Machines. And it is a vast collection of drum machine samples for just a mere $79.99.
So
Yeah. Well, you wait till you see the list, because I think this is what kind of sold it to me. It says 1.6 gig of round robin samples from 100 vintage analog drum machines and rhythm units, with over 300 MIDI patterns, all created to take full advantage of Sampletank 4. So that's what it looks like within the system. But what really sort of sold it for me was the list of drum machines. And if you look through that list there it's like all the drum machines you never normally see in sample packs or libraries, or maybe you get a smattering of a few of them. But you've got like the Elka Wilgamat 3. I didn't even know what that was. There's all those Casios, MT35, 45, 46, 68, loads of Ace Tones in there, Maestro Rhythm Kings, Musicade Claptrap is in there. I mean, what it's just like, this is the thing that fills all of those gaps for those obscure drum machines that never really get any love or attention in any other kind of drum machine sample library or instrument.
The MR10, do you remember that? The MR10.
Yeah. And this, the MPC Electronics, the Clap. Do you remember that was in the case with the hexagonal, stretched hexagonal pads, wasn't it?
Yellow pads or something.
Yeah. It looked a bit kind of Kraftwerky, didn't it? But it was better built. Paya stuff in there, Panasonic, realistic, Zachary Drummer Boy.
Pass.
But what this is going to give you is it's going to give you a huge array of drum sounds that that haven't been around for a while. So this is going to be quite nice to listen to. I mean, you've got some classic Rolands in there. You've got a CR78 and an 808 and a 909 and stuff, which I think is just like, you've got to have those. Although there's no Linn drums, unsurprisingly, because I guess That would have hit a legal
Yeah.
wall. And there's no Obies in there. There's no. They've got all this Casio stuff, but they haven't got a Casio RZ1, which was one of my favourite drum machines. I loved that.
CR8000.
Yes, CR8000.
I thought so.
77, 33. A couple of Simmons in there as well. I mean, it just really is a stonking great collection of drum sounds for $79.99, although you will need Sampletank to run it. I'm not sure if it runs in Sampletank CS, which is their kind of free version. Oh, it does. There you go. Straight away.
There you go.
Works inside Sampletank for CS, offering all the features and over. Yeah, so yeah, there you go. It's a no-brainer, really. And I picked this up today, and just as we were coming on there, I thought, oh yeah, I'll open it up. But of course, because I've added this new library, it needs to rebuild the library database. And I thought, I'm not having that running in the background, so I can't sort of demonstrate it to you. But yeah, you can see it's if you're familiar with the Sampletank interface, this is it's not a bad thing. Guys, any thoughts on this?
Yeah,
Yes, love it.
I like it. It's just that a lot of if you root around on the internet, you will find a lot of these drum machines have been sampled by people, haven't they? Most of the time, you've got to top and tail them and clean up the samples yourself, and then make the kits yourself. And if you've not got the time to do that, then I suppose this is invaluable. I've kind of done this myself anyway. I've got a huge folder on my hard drive full of all these different drum machines, and I just whack them into battery, when I want to use them. But I will try this out, because I do like the IK stuff and that Mondo bass and what's that other thing? That Syntronic. That excellent.
Oh yeah, yeah.
But I'll try this out, because it might completely change my mind. I might be like, oh well, no, it's no point in bothering with those like shitty samples that you can find online. Let the professionals do it, like they do with the UVI stuff,
Yeah.
But, yeah, it's a nice collection, like you say. It's a bit more obscure, less
esoteric,
mainstream. Yeah, but yeah, it could be handy. It'd be nice if they had some sort of sequencer thing in Sampletank, because it's just a keyboard playing drum sounds. It doesn't give you the option to do I don't know. If they have got that, then I'll shut up. But
I know it comes because it comes with MIDI files.
Thing.
Yeah. Our friend Technomatic, aka Simon Forsyth, in the chat has just pointed out that it's missing one that I thought, because if I saw that, it would just be incredible. No movement drum computer. I have been searching high and low for some really decent movement drum computer samples, because that was the one that Thompson Twins used, and I was a huge fan of the Thompson Twins. I'd love those sounds. Of course, I think most people know it from Eurythmics, because Dave Stewart had one, didn't he?
Yeah.
But it was a absolutely bonkers drum machine, because it looked like a computer terminal with a kind of a keyboard and a screen, and then these cards that went in with all the different voices on, and crazy thing. But I'd love to get one of those, but they're rare as rocking horse doo-doo.
Yeah. It's funny that it hasn't been included in a collection like this, really, that one.
Well, I just think there's so few of them about. There's so few of them. And as Ben's pointed out, there was lots of custom samples that you could put on there. So, what do you sample? I did chase a thread down somewhere in a forum where somebody said, "Oh, I've got a movement drum computer," and like everybody else in that thread was like, "Oh, would you do us some samples? I mean, you don't have to be just hit them one at a time. We'll do all the editing. Just give us some samples." And he was like, "No, get your own." And it's like, but it'd be nice. But no, that's if somebody somewhere soon has got to come up with they find one of those things, get Kent to restore it, and then sample the hell out of it.
Oh no, not more work.
Have you ever had older one of those, Kent, in your...
I don't think
Have you ever
so,
had
no.
a movement?
No,
ever had a movement?
not that size, no. Might be cross-eyed for a week. Yeah, no, I haven't had one. No, I don't think I've had one of those in. No.
No. You sure it's not what you say is Wagoose? You sure you're not going in the garage somewhere?
Oh well, I mean the garage. I mean the vortex of doom.
Anything could be in there.
Yeah.
I was just trying to find a picture of the movement.
That sounds a lot worse. There's
Behave.
special sites for that. Come on.
Yeah, because there was the 1 and the 2, I think. I can't remember which was which. So this is, where are we? Let's do this, because it's a glorious looking machine. I don't care what it sounds like; it looks amazing. Here we go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's I think that's the 2, I think. Circa 1981.
I think they used to use them in UFO in the background.
Yeah. It certainly looks it, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's gorgeous, isn't it? That.
Get one of them. Get your purple wig.
And
Yeah.
each one of those cards there says 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 cards there. Is that one as well? It is like a voice, is a sort of kick and a snare and a tom and a whatever. And then it had this little CRT, and it looks amazing, but it's sad.
They obviously presumed that you'd have to do a lot more naming of samples than you really did have to do. Because
Yeah, each one comes with its own little story.
B, C, yeah, exactly. Yes. This sample started life.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It was
but
cold.
that's just a brilliant machine. And it was British as well, wasn't it? The movement.
Yeah.
According to Wikipedia, very rare British-made drum machine. Only made for like a couple of years, and retail for £2,000 ex VAT. So
Wow.
God knows, made down in Somerset, in Bridgewater.
That be.
Yeah. Indeed, yes, that would be a great one to have if anybody has it.
It's like the ultimate example of retro futuristic, isn't it?
Yes, yeah. Can you imagine having one of those and a Fairlight?
Yeah.
Just bonkers looking things together would be amazing. That would. Wow. What other drum machines do you lust after that you don't normally come across in sample packs? Is there anything that you never see around? Or what was your favourite drum machine ever? So I think we don't give drum machines enough love and respect.
No, that's right.
I've had a terrible relationship with drum machines over the years. I've never found one that... Battery's my favourite drum machine.
Oh, right, okay.
It's because it doesn't do rhythms. Maybe that's why I like it.
Yeah. Now, I've always been a fan of things like the Univox SR95.
Mm-hmm.
So I got one. The Roland TR77.
Mm-hmm.
So I got one.
You got one.
CR78. It died. I need to repair it. And Dave's one as well. Oh, God. What else? They're really nice drum machines. I still got a soft spot for the Dramatics.
Oh, yeah.
Or Dramatics. Not massive on the 808 and the 909 even less, weirdly. What else? There was a weird Ace something.
I know
Ace. Go on.
my favourite was the R8, the Roland R8.
Oh, the human thing.
That was actually a really, really good drum machine. That. Yeah.
Also quite partial to the RX-17. Actually. Bit of yammy.
Yeah. Bit of yam.
Yeah.
My first my first experience with a drum machine was a Dr. Rhythm 55, the little black box with the dial on it.
Yeah.
And then I joined this band in 85 or 86. And, was it? It might have been a bit later. But they had a Casio RZ1. So it was just basically two guys on guitars, a guy with a Juno 106 and a Casio CZ 5000 and an RZ1, and he got the foot switch, so you would just start and stop it with the foot.
Yeah.
And they wanted a real drummer. Why they chose me, I have no idea. But I said to him, well, now the RZ1 is redundant, can I have a borrow? And he lent it to me sort of long term. I really spent a lot of time learning how to program this thing and messing around with it, and got some really great stuff, because it had those 4 little sample buttons, didn't it, on the end. So the idea was you just put extra drum sounds in there, but I used to sample bits off of records, and then just because it was only a short thing in there, and you could just sequence those up, and it could get a groove. It was almost kind of MPC like, but not MPC like. But I did we did a demo, like a 3-track demo, and we couldn't record my drums because the only studio we had access to was the keyboard player's studio, which was essentially his bedroom.
Yeah.
We had enough room to set up a vocal booth, but there's no way I was going to get my drum kit in there. So he said, you're going to have to program everything on the drum machine. So I said, well, I don't have a drum machine, because we'd got rid of the RZ1 by then. So he just chucked me this Korg DDD5, which is kind of like a small thing like this. And I really like that. That sounded quite nice for the thing. But I think my favourite is the RX5.
Yeah.
I really, really like that, especially the fact you can interchange the sounds with the cartridges and everything.
Yeah.
That's one of my favourites. And it's got the reverse thing on there as well, so you can reverse any sound on there.
Yeah.
And get some really cool things.
Because they're quite punchy drum machines.
Yeah.
There's a rumour that Prince used it on Sign of the Times somewhere, but I've never seen that substantiated.
I wouldn't be surprised if it is on there. Yeah. It's that kind of sound, isn't it? The Yamaha ones, I've got that.
Yeah. And even the RX11, the RX11, their first kind of proper digital drum machine, is a nice little thing. But yes, drum machines, putting drummers out of work.
Yeah.
No, that didn't work, did it?
They did not. It did not. Not at all.
It's just another option, isn't it? That's
all. Absolutely. No, it's. I'd like to see a movement.
Yeah.
I'll leave it on there. At some point. Yes.
Yeah. Why
So
has nobody done a clone of it then? The movement thing, is it because that nobody can get hold of one to?
I suppose
to
it's
emulate it.
Possible.
If you want to emulate one, you're going to have to, and you're going to do it properly. You're going to have to have one
reference machine.
Yeah, and they are. I think they're rare, and they weren't that reliable. So they're just what remains. I don't know. It's an odd one. We'll have to ask one of our. Well, we've got a guest coming on next month who might. I don't know. He might have one because he's got pretty much one of everything else. But we'll talk about that later on. But we'll have to ask him. But yes, if you want those that list of eclectic and esoteric drum machines, it's just $79.99, and you can get them from ikmultimedia.com, and it's called Beat Machines, and it's available now. Right. Oh yes. We waxed lyrical about this when it first came out, especially when they announced that there was going to be a free version. And the only downside was that if you wanted the free version of this piece of software, you had to fill in a survey and then wait a couple of weeks, and then they sent you the link. So it was a small time price to pay. Now you can get BBC Symphony Orchestra Discover version from Spitfire Audio immediately and free. So you just literally go on there and add to cart, and it is yours. It's the basic entry-level version of the wonderful BBC SO library. It has 33 instruments in there, only I think one mic position. There's nothing too elaborate, but it's enough to get you using really good sounding orchestral samples from the BBC SO recorded at Maida Vale. and now you don't have to fill out a survey, and you don't have to wait 14 days before you get it, and it's compatible with all the other versions of the BBC SO. So if somebody composes something in Discover, you can then take that and apply it to Professional, and then add all your extra bells and whistles. It's all all matched and everything. So I think didn't we all get a version of BBC?
Yeah,
BBC?
Yeah, I'm a bit gutted because I bought mine.
What did you go for the core or you?
No,
because that was the other thing with Discover, wasn't it? You could buy it, couldn't you, for like $49 or get it for free. Yeah, that's it. I remember.
If you didn't want to fill in the form and you didn't want to wait, you could just pay 49 quid and get it instantly like this. Now. Which I did. I don't know why I did that, because I didn't have a job on where I had to urgently get down an orchestra or something. I could have easily have waited 6 months for this, but I didn't. So I bought it. I'm a bit gutted now that I did, but it is very good though.
Yeah,
it's really good, and it's a total no-brainer. I did it was only a little independent film, but I did the majority of the music for that. What was it called? A little film I did anyway. I can't remember.
I remember now.
Yeah, and
can't remember the name, but I remember the film.
No, Delicious. It was called Delicious, and I did the music for that mainly using this. I didn't have any fancy. It sounds all right, like. Didn't have any fancy sound libraries or anything at that point, and I just had that for all the orchestral bits, and they sound pretty convincing.
Yeah.
And if you can get that for free, you'd be daft not to, really.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it kind of feeds into that whole BBC principle of providing stuff to people, essentially, at very low cost, get people in. Obviously, it's Spitfire behind all of this, but it just kind of I think it fits nicely that there are options for everyone. You can have the free version, you can have the medium version, or you can have the full-blown pro version, which takes up a lot of space but is incredibly good. And the only downside, I think, is that you really do need an SSD drive to store this on, because it can. I've got it on just like a regular mechanical one, and you choose an instrument, it's like Are we there yet? No. And there we are. And then you realise you've chosen the wrong articulation, and you have to load up the next lot, all the different mic settings. But it is so powerful in the pro version. All the different things you can do with it is amazing. But yeah, if you haven't already got hold of a BBC SO Discover, it is now completely 100% free with no delay. Get it now. Just go to the website, hit buy it now, stick it in your cart, check out, and you're done. And I think it's only 200 or 300 meg, isn't it? It's not a massive footprint. It's
not massive, no. I think what Spitfire should do though, to people like me who have invested £49, is give us a discount off the core version to encourage us to upgrade.
Well, yeah, again, this is Spitfire doing that whole gateway drug thing. It's like Labs is the gateway drug into Spitfire's world. There you go. We've got people in the chat already saying, yep, just bought it, done, downloading. We should get some commission for that.
Yeah.
But yeah, instantly free. And it's got this great interface as well. It's really cool interface.
I did buy it.
Oh, you got the SSD?
I got the SSD version, yes.
Yeah. You can never remember what he's bought.
Oh, to be in that position. Eh? Dear, oh dear. No, it's highly recommended.
Terrible.
Although I think the price of the version that Spitfire offer, because it says it comes branded, is higher than if you were to buy the download version and a separate SSD and then just stick it on that. So yeah,
it's a really good idea, because unless your name is Hans or Ty, there's a lot of the samples that are in the full professional version you're not really going to go near unless you know precisely how an orchestra works and how it's set up. So to have this sort of get you going kind of cheap way of sort of like, yeah, but look here, get the quality of the samples, you just don't get all the nuances that 9 times out of 10 nobody would hear anyway.
That's it.
It's brilliant. Yeah, no, it's a sweet little move. Yeah.
Mike says we're going to get 35% of commission on all the sales of this particular plugin, which he's right. They get the square root of sod all.
Yeah.
So there you go. Never mind. So plus yeah, VAT. Plus VAT. So if you haven't already got BBC SO, the Discover version, get it now because it's free and it's instant, and you can be playing with it before the end of this show, I am sure, if you've got a decent internet connection. So that is available now. We've got one more thing to talk about, and then we can just blather on about anything we like. But I saw this one the other day, and I love this. I love this guy's work. I think he's absolutely brilliant. But of course, you can't buy any of this stuff. It's all made to commission. So I'm just going to play the video first, really, to give you an idea of this thing. We might actually have the time to play the whole thing. So this is the Doodlestation from Love Hultén. Let's make this full. This is just incredible. Look at that. Brilliant, isn't it? Oops, I've done that stupid thing again, sorry. There we go. Back in there. It's just... I mean, I know he takes existing synthesizers and puts them into different kind of packages, but it's the... Look at this thing. It's a
bit like Colossus after a load of LSD, isn't it?
It's got a freaking theremin there, look. I mean, it's just brilliant.
Look at him dancing.
Yeah, I know, yeah. And those exposed keys are very Osmos, aren't they? I'm not even bored of this yet. I could literally watch this over and over, but you should go and check it out if you haven't already. So this is Love Hultén. Let's go to his website. And we can see this in a bit more detail. Yeah, it's called the Doodlestation.
How much do you think? They're like bespoke things, aren't they? How much do you think you're looking at to buy that off him? Or is there a price?
There is no price. So basically, it's an OB6 module, a Moog DFAM, a hologram microcosm, a theremin, a custom MIDI visualizer, tape echo, and a custom keybed. It just sits on this, it's like a sideboard, isn't it? It's just brilliant. It's just bonkers, but brilliantly so. I mean, it sounds amazing. It looks amazing.
The oscilloscope's the best bit.
Yeah, it's just incredible. It's stunning. I mean, some of the stuff that he's done. I mean, if you're not familiar with Love Hultén's work, these are some incredible machines. This is the Mega FM 37, which is a Twisted Electronics Mega FM with a Strymon Blue Sky and an Arturia key step, and he just puts them into these wonderful designs. This was the sort of portable thing I forget what was in that one.
Looks very Nintendo-ish.
Yeah, it was NES polychip tune synth. My mouth isn't working today. I don't know what's going on. I'm probably going to have a seizure or something. But yeah, look, I mean, they're just incredible designs, incredible looking things. They just look amazing. I mean, that looks very much like the instrument that predated the Fairlight, which was called the Quasar, and it had that kind of upright, it was a keyboard with this upright interface on it. But yeah, I mean, just brilliant stuff. And they're all made one-offs. They're made to order. So if you want one of these things, you have to go. Oh yeah, this was the brilliant one with the false teeth, and they opened. You played the notes, and they all opened up. It was just. Let's have a look at that one. It's genius. Why would you not want that? It's just brilliant stuff. Yeah, it's just incredible. But it's all built to order. You have to go to him and say, look, I want this, and he'll come up with it at a price, I'm sure, and probably not a cheap one, but brilliant stuff.
Yeah, definitely not a cheap one. But it's beautiful, isn't it? It's like real.
It's so beautiful stuff. And why nobody has picked this guy up to produce something, that can be made for the general hoi polloi. It's just incredible stuff. Really is. Thoughts, gentlemen?
Love it.
Yeah, go for it.
Yeah.
More, please.
More, please. Yes, he doesn't come out with them that often, but when he does, they are just incredible. And they say it's underneath. It's just existing synth technology that you can buy, and then he just puts them into these wonderful cases. What would you like to see him do?
I'd like to see him work with Teenage Engineering.
Oh God, nobody would be able to afford that.
And scale things up a bit so we can use it.
Here's a decent interface for your tiny pocket mix.
It's some element. The colours and that are a little bit Teenage Engineering, aren't they? You know? And I think it's a similar kind of style. I see Dr. Synth. Manny's turned up there.
Mm-hmm.
I noticed that he was being old when we had him as a guest on the show. He was being like kind of posh, and I realised that he wasn't really posh. It was a fake background that he'd found in Streamyard, and he was having us all on. He isn't posh. I've actually got the same background myself.
Look at
that.
Yeah. Oh, cat's out of the bag.
Yeah. It's funny you should say that he should team up with Swedish Engineering, Teenage Engineering, because they're both from Sweden. This guy's in Sweden too. He lives in Gothenburg. So yeah, there is one thing. I'm not. Oh God, there's a picture of bloody Kanye using one of those things. There is the thing. Yeah,
IKEA of the synth world.
Oh no, there was a trend about a year or so ago where you get these adverts on Facebook advertising synths, and they were copying they're literally taking the images off his website and flogging them for $49.99. And when you get the thing, it's just a box of bits and rubbish, and it's So there was a big scam thing going on a little while back. But yeah, great stuff. I mean, it's just ingenious.
That's probably where I've seen one of them before then.
Yeah. There was a big thing going on, big scam thing going on. But lovehultén.com if you want to find out more about that and his other amazing work. And there is some contact, there's a contact page on there if you want to ask him how much a commission will be. He says that he only makes to order, never keeps any stock, and delivery times may vary. But he's an artist, bless him.
He's laid back.
Still more luck than he gets here.
What would you like to see a CS80 in one of those kind of cabinets?
No.
Okay. You're supposed to.
Sacred ground.
Well, yes, I suppose you can't improve
Sacred
on
ground.
perfection. Yeah.
No.
What synth would you like to see in a Love Hultén design? Anything? I mean, Teenage Engineering, to expand on that, that's a good one. But
I like teenage engineering stuff. You can get loads of it and then pretend you're in the TV series Land of the Giants.
I'm going to give something a second mention.
go on.
I'm
then.
going to go for the Fusion. I'd like to see him do something with that because I think that is one of the worst design synths we've ever seen, but had great potential. So it'd be really nice to see somebody do something really inventive and creative.
Or in
with
that
it.
case, Timberwolf.
Yeah, we could only make it look nice. You probably couldn't make it sound nice.
Well, it's still a percentage in the right direction, isn't it?
Well, I suppose. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, you're right. The Fusion's design left a huge amount to be desired, both in terms of just the way it looks and also the way it works. It wasn't a very intuitive machine to navigate around. I don't know what I'd like to see. I don't know. Yeah.
You'd probably want to see a DX7.
No, I think they look all right as it is. They're minimalist and
Which do you
But no-
prefer? Do you prefer the original or the Mark II in looks? I always like the buttons on the Mark II.
Yeah, I mean, from a practical point of view, the Mark II is nicer, isn't it? Because it's proper buttons and proper sliders, and it's still got the great keyboard. But there is something about the Mark 1 DX7. It's just still nostalgic, I think.
Yes.
But yes, and of course, as Matt points out, the DX7 is brown, and there's not many brown synths, so I think it holds its own. Brown
and green.
brown.
It's like
Brown
a
and
bloody
green.
mint choc ice, isn't it?
It is, yeah. I don't like mint choc ices, but no. The
Are you mad, sir?
oh no, chocolate and mint. Whoever thought of that? He's taken out of being shot. No, really?
I can't believe it.
No,
Can't believe it.
Can't stand it.
Oh, dear
Can't
me.
Avalon Major. That's a new name. I've not seen that. And welcome to the show. Hope you're enjoying it. Any word on the Yamaha ANX? You remember a few weeks ago we had this thing where Yamaha had registered the ANX brand.
Yes.
And it's funny because there was another one of the other shows. It might have been Rand's. I'm pretty sure it was Rand's show, or it was one of them anyway. So I apologise if it wasn't Rand's. I apologise. But they actually said, I think I know what this is. So what's the name of the FM engine in the Montage and the Modi X?
Oh, FMX.
Colin.
FMX. Colin.
Colin.
So
Yeah.
FMX.
Yeah.
So I'm wondering if
ANX.
there's going to be an ANX either expansion for the Montage, or there's going to be a new version of it with the analog modelling in there.
I think
Yamaha going to pull their finger out and do something.
I don't
Yeah,
think
but-
it'll be any new hardware. I think it'll be a firmware update.
Yeah. Well, does the Montage have any analog modelling in there, or is it just all sample based in FM? I don't know. Because if it's gonna, they're gonna put analog modelling in something that doesn't already have it. That's a new product, isn't it?
Yeah, it would make a massive difference.
Yeah.
Opens a
I'm
lot of opportunity.
as soon as I'm pretty sure it was Rand's. As soon as that was mentioned, I thought, oh god, there it is. So
Yeah.
obvious, isn't it? Staring you right in the face. FMX now ANX. It's an analog modelling add-on
Just looking at the features now.
of.
It's got AWM2
So that's
as a
samples.
montage.
Yeah.
FMX.
FM, yeah.
I think that it says content and effects. I think they're just
Yeah.
samples, aren't they?
So, yeah.
No, doesn't seem as though there's any kind of
No.
analog modelling in there. So yeah, I think you're onto something.
And we all
there.
know someone who probably does know exactly what ANX is, but he's not going to be able to tell us. Hey, Dr. Manny. So, As soon as I heard that, I thought, yeah, that's what it is. No, we haven't heard anything since, and I don't think we will until I'm guessing something like that will be announced at NAMM, so that'll be a beginning of next year thing. But yeah, as Manny says, ModiX Montager, AFM and FMX and AWM. So I think that's what it is. Personally, that's what I reckon.
Yeah.
Pity
the bookies haven't got odds on that. Get in there on that one.
Yeah, indeed. So that kind of wraps up all of the news stuff.
Okay, jam time.
Jam time. Here we go. He's showing off now that he can. He can actually play.
Not really.
Play. Well, I don't think I've ever heard you play because you've always at the other end of the room.
Yeah, I've never had the potential to get the sound going in the past. I'm a bit annoying when I have got the option of tinkling because I just can't resist. Oh, it sounded like Thingy, that, didn't it?
Oh, sounded like Thingy.
Everybody wants to rule the world. It's a bit
I
like that.
guess you.
It's the same kind of sound.
That's I was singing Body Electric's got it. It wasn't Ramsey, it was Paulie Alex Bow on Sonic Talk that mentioned the ANX FMX connection thing there. So apologies, it was Paulie. Thank you. I don't know if Paulie's watching, but I do apologise. Talking to Tears for Fears, they've called off the rest of their Tipping Point UK tour.
Ah, right, because somebody mentioned something the other day. They cancelled a date and then done like a subsequent date, and that had like peeved a load of people off, but they've ended up cancelling everything.
Yeah, apparently Kurt's broken his ribs and he can't sing properly because of it, and he's been it was announced today they've the doctor has told him to rest properly, so therefore the rest of the Tipping Point tour in the UK, which had got off to a great start and was getting rave reviews, along with Alison Moyet as well, because she was opening for him, has all been called off as of today. So if you have tickets, tie on.
Are they rescheduling, or do you think?
Not immediately. It's unfortunate though, because they a few years ago they arranged some dates and then called it all off because of a family medical emergency, which then subsequently turned out to be Roland's wife. But they came in for a huge amount of stick for that. So this is like doubly unfortunate because they can't gig. If you can't sing, and Kurt's, clearly, they carry the singing duties equally. If Kurt can't sing, there's just absolutely no point. So it's really, really quite sad. But if you haven't heard the new Tears for Fears album, it's very, very good.
It is
very
good
indeed.
Yeah.
Yes. So Tears for Fears. What have you been listening to? What music? Let's talk about what you've been listening to. Have you been listening to anything new and interesting?
Well, it's funny you should ask that because I haven't listened to anything for a while, but I was watching the new Netflix series of Resident Evil last night.
Okay.
And the music choice in that the music selection, of like commercial tracks that's played during the scenes and stuff, superb. There's somebody definitely with a similar music taste to me anyway. I'm not saying they've got a great music taste, but as far as I'm concerned, they have. And some of the tunes that was coming out on there, so I went and looked it up online, and I've got a playlist of everything that's through the entire first season. So there's some really great stuff on there. I'm not going to mention any of it in case it makes me sound really old, because everybody knows who these people are. There's one fella called John Lennon. No. It seems like quite kind of electronic indie sparse music, and it's very atmospheric and go and hunt it down. I can't remember. One of the tunes was by somebody called Best Friends. It sounds like a terrible name, but it was spelt differently, But that's a great tune. Check that out.
Okay,
what are you listening to?
I picked up a copy of Wang Chung's Points on the Curve the other day, and just I love that album, but it was a limited edition version where the tracks are in a different order, and some of them crossfade, and it's a really interesting sort of take on it. But it just reminded me how good they were, especially when Chris Hughes was at the desk. That was really good. And then this arrived today, which was the 40th anniversary of The Associates. Sulk,
right, yeah.
which is a great album.
Yeah.
So that's for it. I've been listening to that. I've been working through my record store day stuff, so I was listening to Stevie Nicks yesterday. Belladonna, which is a great album. But all sorts all over the place, really. But that he's talking about the TV stuff. That's a big business now. Putting tracks onto TV shows. I mean, Stranger Things. You only have to sort of look what it's done to Kate Bush.
Yeah,
she's the global '1, the Billboard global '1.
Rightly so, though.
Yeah,
it just shows you if you get the right exposure, it all works all over again, doesn't it? It wasn't just us.
It was a really clever use of. But it was a really clever use of a track that was. The show is set in '86. The song was around. It had been around almost a year by then, so it clearly would have been in somebody's mind. And then to use it, and the fact the lyrics almost kind of fit the action within. It was a very clever piece of syncing to get that in there. What about you, Ken? Have you been listening to anything interesting lately?
Parisian breakfast music. Yeah, it's Prophet VS's new album.
Yeah, Robert. Yeah.
Oh no, sorry, Native VS.
Yeah.
I've been working on Prophet VS as well.
Easy.
Yeah, easy. One's a guy and the other one's a keyboard. One's a guy, one's a keyboard. One's a guide, one's a keyboard. Yeah, okay, got it. Yeah. Yeah, so no, I'm a boring fart. I tend to put on these huge 8-hour files of film scores and let that run. Well, I say run, blast out of the workshop while I'm working, because it drowns the sound of the building site out the back. And so I have to tune by eye than by ear, so because you can't hear anything. But yeah, it's going to be just film scores and stuff like that. That's all I ever listen to now.
Cool.
Boring fart.
Wow.
There you go. No, it's whatever turns you on, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely.
Seems to work anyway. There's some really interesting ones anyway. There's I say film scores. It obviously it's a little bit more widespread than just for films. There's also a lot of computer game music, which is stunning stuff now.
Oh God, yeah.
For a lot of big games and stuff like that. And it mixes in a bit of drum and bass, and it's everything. And that's the whole point. You get a bit of absolutely everything.
Yeah.
Rather than just one particular genre.
Yeah. I was just something. There's an album that you just reminded me. I was listening to There's a new Dolby Atmos mix of Sananda Maitreya, who used to be Terence Trent D'Arby, his debut album introducing the hardline according to. They've just done a spatial audio mix of that. I've been listening to that. That's really, really good. Very well done. But Superorganism, that's it. That's the band that I was just. Their album Worldwide Pop came out to. That's very good. And the new single from Young Fathers as well, which promises to be very good. I was just going through my downloads there, but
we'll do a musical accompaniment while you have a look through.
No, you're all right. The Best of Annika, says Steve Powell. Was she the Japanese boy track? But she wasn't a Japanese boy, but her song was. Oh, by the way, Ken.
Yes, dear.
Manny says GS1 parts. Andre, who's the guy who's recently sold the Terminator 2 Fairlights.
Uh-huh.
He's in Northern California. He may have leftover GS2 scraps from Eric Norlander's GS1 restoration, so I can put you in touch if you need anything.
Yeah, so far it's looking like all of the boards are functioning.
Oh, good.
Ooh.
It looks like everything is now fully working. I did a quick rebuild of the power supply. I had some stupid hour this morning, actually. Even the birds were still asleep. And I did a quick restore on we just replaced all the voltage regulators and stuff like that in the cabs. So it's like ready to rock and roll. It's all down to this mag strip reader, and
Then we're good. Cool.
then we're good to rock and roll.
Nice. Love to hear that. I'd love to play it as well. Shall we tell people about some of the guests we've got coming up?
Yeah,
Absolutely.
yeah, definitely.
Let's do that. So we've been working hard, and last week's guest, Christine, was absolutely amazing. Loads of really great feedback, and we're hoping to get her back on, and maybe with Mark as well. That would be rather cool. So we're working on that one. But we've got a brilliant show coming up for you next week. It is next week. I promise you, it is next week. Because last week I said it was going to be today, and it isn't. And a very panicked Manny Fernandez emailed me just after the show. I've just caught up with the show. We're not on next week. It's the week after. I'm like, of course you are. How did I do that? So I was just getting very excited. But basically, next week we've just got this. It's going to be brilliant. I'm so excited about this. So this is it. It's going to be a special about a particular synth, and that particular synth is the highly elusive and wonderfully bonkers Yamaha VP1, which was their first proper physical modelling synthesizer from around 94, I believe. I'm sure Manny will correct me if I'm wrong, but Manny has been helping restore one of these for the gentleman that you see in that middle of the trio, Mr. Reinhold Heil. Reinhold is a very well accomplished film and TV composer, and used to be in Nina Hagen's band as well. So this is his VP1 that's been restored, and there's a remarkable story behind it as well, which is very interesting. And then the gentleman you see on the right there is Mr. Scott Kinsey, who is an incredibly accomplished jazz player, but also has done work with Yamaha keyboards and so on and so forth over the years. And so he's going to be joining Manny and going to be playing this. So we're going to have a really great player playing this amazing instrument with and hopefully Reinhold's going to be joining us from his home in Hawaii, and then Manny's going to be there telling us all about the whole how this thing works and how you program sounds on it, and how the whole restoration process went down. So that is next Friday. Do not miss that. If you can't watch it live, don't worry. Of course, it is recorded, and you can watch it on catch up. But that is going to be next week's show, and I'm just so excited about it. And I've got to say, massive shout out to Manny for setting everything up at his end. We've got some tests to do before next week, but fingers crossed everything's going to work really, really well. And we're gonna be in for a treat, because the VP1 is this incredible instrument that it was, say, Yamaha's first kind of commercial physical modelling synthesizer, and it used a different form of physical modelling to the ones that then subsequently followed, the VLs, the VL1, the VL7, the VL70M, and so on. And so therefore it can produce some amazing sounds. And it's 16-note polyphonic, which, again, back then, when you look at the VL1 was duophonic, and then the VL7, I think, was mono, or was that duo as well? I can't remember. The VL70, I know, was definitely mono, because of the amount of processing power. But I believe each voice in the VP1 has its own card with two 32-bit processors on, I'm pretty sure. Again, don't want to sort of steal a whole bunch of thunder from the show next week, but definitely very excited about that. You guys looking forward to that one?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Very much. Yeah. It's obviously this one's really rare, so I've never been near one of these. I think I saw the VL7 once, and there's some kind of VL technology in me X5, but that I'm fairly much novice level as far as this is concerned. So I'll really enjoy it, learning all about it. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to it.
There's a bunch of demos on like YouTube where it's the manufacturer's demos. I think Manny actually if you go to Manny's channel on YouTube, he's played them and then shown the editor, because there's a Mac editor that worked on the Macs of the day, early 90s, whatever they were. And from what I'm told, again, so I don't want to steal too much thunder from all of this, but every VP1 that exists is pretty much slightly different from every other one, because they were all prototypes. It was never commercially released. They kind of pulled the plug on it before it went sort of mainstream. And so some of them have got the editor port on them, and some haven't got the editor port on them, and some have got this and some have got that. So they're all kind of slightly unique, but the one that Manny's got has got the editor, and so he's got he's going to be setting up a shot of the editor screen as well. Wow. So we'll actually get to see a lot more of the workings of how this thing worked and how this physical modeling does. So there's these two different types of kind of modeling that Yamaha developed, and the VP1 is the only one that uses this particular type, and it's stunning, absolutely stunning. So really looking forward to that. So make sure you hit that subscribe button, hit the bell, and you will get a notification of that. So same time next week, 7 p.m. UK and whatever it is, 2 p.m. Eastern, 11 a.m. Pacific. And looking forward to that very, very much.
It's going to be good now.
Yeah, definitely. So that's next week, and then we've got the wonderful Dina Perlman. She's coming back on the show on July 29th, so we're going to be finding out everything about the Alan R. Perlman Foundation and what they've been up to, and how they're progressing along. And that's going to be my birthday treat as well, because it's my birthday on that day. So what a way to celebrate.
Yeah,
with Dina, lovely Dina, who of course just recently got married, so we'll be able to wish her congratulations in person.
Yes.
And then we've got August. So August, I think we've already mentioned, we're going to be joined back again by Mr. Mel Wesson. And I want to dig into Mel's background and history a bit more next time, because I only discovered recently that if you listen to Bittersweet Symphony by Wigan lads, the Verve, there's a warbly bit at the beginning, just as those strings are coming in. There's this kind of warbly synth bit, and that's Mel on a Moog. And I never knew that. And he's all over all these other little things, because he has this knack of coming up with cool stuff. I think Hans loves him for it, obviously, but So and he will be in his new newly refurbished studio, apparently, if that's all gone to plan.
Good. Yeah.
So Mel on August the 5th, and then Ben's got a gig the week after that. So I'm not sure if we're going to have anybody then, but we can announce today that on August 26th we're going to be joined by Benj Edwards. Who is just a superb guy. He's got a fantastic collection of synths down somewhere in Cornwall, I think his studio is. And he's a brilliant musician and really knows his stuff. And he's got this wonderful new TV show. It's a half-hour TV show that he puts out on his channel. The channel's called Zach Dagobah, and it's called the Mean Tune TV Show. And it's done in sort of that late 70s, early 80s BBC late night style, with really garish graphics, computer generated graphics, and
lots of feedback.
Lots of video feedback. And he does these little sections in the show where, the last show he did a 20-minute patching session on an ARP 2500, which was fascinating. And I think I was saying about this last night on Kent Show. I really learnt a lot about the 2500 that I just had. I didn't really sort of know too much about it.
I really wanted one after watching that. I'd have a go on one at least. Yeah.
And he did this whole thing about polysynths, and he's looking at different polysynths and telling you about why they're different from the other ones, and how they, it's just fantastic. And I was speaking to him today, and the next episode is going to come out this weekend, he hopes. and it's going to be very digital. So you can imagine my eyes are like, "Wee, digital." And he's got some very cool stuff on there that I can't wait to see what he's done with. So Benj will be joining us on August 26th, and that's really, really cool. And then on September 9th, we're going to be joined by the wonderful Jem Godfrey, who is the founder and keyboard player with prog rock band Frost, and has written countless hit singles for a whole bunch of bands in the 90s and the noughties. Even, I found out the other day, has co-written with Elliot Kennedy, who we had on the show a few weeks ago, and they go way back. Yeah. He's done a huge amount of stuff with him. And so Jem has actually, he was the one that bought the Terminator 2 Fairlight. So we'll hopefully he'll have that sitting in the background somewhere. He says he's still in that phase where he wakes up in the morning, walks downstairs and sees it and goes, ooh, he gets all excited. So that's very cool. So Jem Godfrey. Yes. Very nice. So we've got some really cool people coming up over the next few weeks, and there'll be more added to that, because I know you're working on a few, aren't you? And I've got one or two I'm hoping to hear back from.
Yeah.
And so is Kent, of course.
Yeah. I've gone in high end, hoping that I can get them. But,
higher than Mr. Zimmer?
No, well, a little bit higher than him. Tommy Arkwright is the organist down at Windle Labour Club here.
Oh, wow.
Get him on.
He's genius.
Yeah,
Get him on.
I'm going for him. I've had a word with him.
That thing he does with a balloon. Unbelievable.
Yeah.
I know, it's just wow.
Brilliant. Yeah. I was we were talking about Mr. Zimmer. I was listening to or watched Rain Man and Thelma and Louise in recent weeks. They've been throwing them on BBC, and just marveling in those soundtracks. They're still, to this day, they're still really, really good. Especially Rain Man. It's such a great soundtrack of his. And I think, is it Totally Fairlight, that one? Mostly Fairlight, isn't it?
Is it?
Rain Man is.
Yeah, there's quite a lot. Yeah, I think Rain Man was the one that really sort of like put them on the map proper.
Yes, yeah, definitely.
And then the next one probably that really put them on the map would be Gladiator.
I was just going to say Gladiator, but that's tainted for me, that one, because somebody I knew died and used the bloody music at the funeral, so I can't listen to it. Yeah.
No. Yeah.
Selfish gets.
Yeah.
Confession, right? I drove to Italy for a holiday, and we went into Rome, and I made sure I got my Gladiator CD lined up, so as soon as we started entering into Rome, pop the Gladiator thing on. It proper goosebumps, especially you're driving around the Colosseum.
What's your favourite Hans score then? What do you think is his finest?
I'm going to let Kent take that one.
Weirdly, one of the most difficult ones was, I think, technically difficult to do would be the Caribbean ones.
Right.
They're quite technically difficult pieces to do.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Interstellar's my favourite.
Interstellar is musically quite simple.
It's probably why
but
I like it.
But that's kind of his thing, isn't it? You take a simple tune and you elaborate on it.
Yeah. It's just it's
perfect. Because people will listen and remember a simple tune than any sort of like really complex thing. They have to hear it 20 times before they start humming it themselves. I don't know. You're asking the wrong person. I absolutely adore all of them. I play all of them. I've learned all of them. I told him that. He was going, you stalker. Yeah. I don't know. They're all. I love all of them.
They are. It's like trying to pick your favourite child, isn't it? I think.
Yeah.
Inception is good.
Well, but I mean, it's like I adore nearly all the film scores that have ever been done. There are a few exceptions of film scores that they're just god awful. And it's normally the ones where people have done the paint by numbers.
Yeah.
And sort of like, yeah, and you can hear it. You can hear the paint by numbers. But yeah.
No, I really liked Inception. I thought that was Gladiator as well was superb.
Yeah.
And I still think Rain Man, is definitely up there as it's of its time, but it works.
Yeah.
It's very clever, and you think it is predominantly just one guy and a very powerful computer. It's very clever man. Hopefully we'll get the chance to quiz him on that at some point.
Well, yeah, so we can hope for, isn't it?
Yeah. What about other synthesizer-based scores? Any favourites you have?
I thought the Tron one was really good.
The Daft Punk one?
Daft Punk one, yeah, that is really nice. I really do like that one.
That was excellent. Again, simple tunes. That's all I want.
Yeah.
I just want a simple tune.
You're a simple man with simple tastes.
Yeah.
I love all the Game of Thrones stuff.
Oh, yeah.
Because there's the theme, but there's all the other music throughout the series that he's done that is just really good.
Yeah. I like James Horner's stuff.
Yeah.
Because he was very into synths, and Jerry Goldsmith as well.
Yeah.
They I don't know if they blazed a trail for using synthesizers in movie scores that weren't overtly electronic.
Yeah.
Because if you listen to Titanic, I honestly loved listening. I've actually got both of they had the original score, and then they released a subsequent album of other bits that wasn't on the first one, and they're both as good as each other. And sometimes you just can't tell which parts are orchestral and which parts are synth, because he's really just blended it so well. It's such a great thing.
I like some of these timestamp things that appear in scores, where you can date a score by something that's done within it. Like, for instance, in the mid-'80s, it was really fashionable to have a single trumpet, play two notes, and then echo it.
Yeah.
It's in Wrath of Khan, it's in Aliens. It appears in motifs. Yeah, it's a little motifs that constantly come back.
Yeah.
Yeah, 90s was all that boom thing. Yeah, and all that sort of thing.
Yeah, all those cliches.
Well, the first one's unique. After that, everything is a cliche. Unfortunately.
That's it. It must be. I mean, it's created a heck of a business, because as we've looked at certain things on the show, like these cinematic libraries that have all of those cliches but in a box, and you can just pick the ones that you want to use, and it's just do you really want to sound like everyone else? It's difficult.
That's the worrying thing, though, as we get further into technology and everything becomes colour by numbers kind of thing. Well, everybody is going to go for the easy option, aren't they?
Yeah.
But there's a conversation in the group about it's a shame that nobody takes out big, massive hardware synths anymore, and it's all laptops and everything. And the thing is they wouldn't have done back in the day if they could have gone out with laptops. So it's kind of the same here. It's if there's an easier option, people will take it and stop thinking, and they'll stop trying to make a score to a movie with a bite wheel, because they don't need to. And
but it was like Ty was on Kent's show last night, and without going into all of the detail, he's having a hell of a time with this particular project. Oh God,
it got worse.
I didn't think it could.
That was him on the phone just before the show.
Oh right,
it got a lot worse.
So he's having an absolutely torturous time with this project that he's working on, and somebody said, can't you just use ghostwriters? And he says, I don't like to use ghostwriters. It's a common practice, but just to get people to do little bits, and they'll just do their thing, and it will probably be paint by numbers kind of thing, and then just drop it in, and it kind of works, but it sounds like everything else.
Yeah.
But Ty is a man of enormous integrity, and so that's just not his thing. So he will put himself through the ringer, and he kept mentioning this quote last night. I thought it was very apt. for the benefit of the film. You know, that's the thing you're serving. That's the thing that you're trying. You're not looking at your paycheck. You're not looking at, you know, ticking a set of boxes. You're doing it for the, you know, the love of that film. That's the project. You know, so I guess sometimes, you know, with these composers, I mean, I know like Hans has a huge team of people around him, and all of these, you know, big composers will have a team of people all working on little bits, but under his direction or her direction, whoever. You know, when Ty's a man on his own. When the pressure's on, you got to get something out. There's going to be a bunch of people that are just going to say, "Yeah, well, I'll just take that thing from there and that thing from there and wedge it together. Yeah, that sounds good because it sounds pretty much like everything else that's out there, and it'll pass." Yeah. I guess. I don't know.
So do you reckon that like Hans is still very hands-on? Pardon the pun. Yeah.
Clever.
That's one of them.
Hang on. Let me get one of mine on.
Oh dear me.
I like that bit at the end. Yeah, I like that one.
Somebody needs a glass of Andrew.
So, is he still very involved in it all, or is he kind of like an executive producer over it?
Depends on the project.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Depends on the project. Yeah. If it's going to be some 30-minute advert or something like that, he'll go and sort that out for us. If it's the big project, he'll do the business.
Yeah. Yes. Well, when
I think everybody works like that anyway.
Yeah. But when you've been as successful at that, you have that freedom to pick and choose the bits you want to get involved in, and not so much, and those bits that can just maybe not require that focus. That anyway, yeah. I don't know. I many years ago I did think, I'd love to write to picture and all that kind of stuff, and it's now I hear what Ty goes through. I'm thinking, I'm glad I don't, because I don't think I could put up with all that stress. It's not pleasant.
I'd still like to do it, but I'm not as capable at it as I thought I would be. I've still got lots and lots to learn, and I'm not like a spring chicken, so I don't know whether it's worth me trying.
You never know. I mean, I had that thing with Lorne Balfe, but it wasn't to picture. He'd already got a thing to picture, but he hadn't fleshed it out. So I was just adding meat to the bones, but the bones were already there. So I wasn't having to write to picture. I had a beginning and I had an end, and I had sonic cues that said, there's an impact point here, there's something here. So I just put stuff to that. I had no picture. There was, so it wasn't.
What did you do? What did you use?
What, in terms of equipment?
Yeah, I mean, what was your process, as it were?
My process.
Yes. How did one go about it?
How did one get? It was a weird thing, because the movie was about the pandemic, and so therefore the score was written during the pandemic. And the reason they didn't use a professional orchestra and collection of musicians and went for this ragtag bunch of random people around the world was that kind of, oh look, we're in a world now where we can all collaborate online and do stuff. So we were given a brief, and we were all sent a couple of tracks to work on, and we weren't told anything about the film. We just were told it was about the pandemic. We were given these things, and the shackles were off. They said, whatever you do, just do whatever you feel. Nothing is wrong. And so I had these. One of the tracks was very musical. It was the theme. So all I thought about at the time was that Lorne had contacted me about using the Fairlight. So I thought, well, I haven't got time to set up, because we literally had 72 hours to put something together and then send it off. I didn't have time to set all of that up, so I just thought, well, I'll get something that has a human vocal quality to it, because I was thinking that maybe that's, and because it was about pandemic and humans and all this. So I actually used the FS1R, which I only just recently got, and because it's got its whole formant thing going on in there, you can get some very, vocally type sound. So I found a patch that had that sort of element. It had a great. If you played it softly, you got the breathiness, but if you played it hard, you got like a plucked thing. more. So it was very dynamic sort of thing. So that I used that to do a sort of like a top line type thing, and then I used the Prophecy because I just love the Prophecy. It sounds amazing. So I had this kind of I think the patch is called Eerie Comb String, so that kind of tells you the sort of sound it is. It's kind of like a stringed instrument, but it's a modelled thing. It just sounds great, so I just did that on top and improvised, and that was that. And then the other track was an action piece, and it's where I eventually found out when I watched the film, it's like he gets on this motorbike and he goes racing through the night, through LA or wherever it is.
Yeah.
And what I'd been given as a bed was very atonal and rhythmic. And I was lacking so much confidence in like putting. I thought I can't put any music to this. It just didn't sound right. So again, FS1R, I found a whole bunch of really metallic FM crashes and bangs and groans and rhythmic things, and just kind of did impact things throughout this thing. And then there's a patch in there that the mod wheel speeds up, so it kind of goes. So it has a very kind of repetitive thing, and then as you pull the mod wheel down, it slows down.
Okay.
Or push it up. So at the beginning of the track, I kind of sped it up, and then it kind of goes action. And then at the end of it, I sort of like do this massive kind of like 4 notes on the keyboard thing, sustain pedal down, and then just slow it all down. So it goes G, 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 like that sort of thing. And I thought that he'll never use that, and that's pretty much all the track is. And so I was really chuffed with that one. So
nice.
yeah, that was that. But I'd love to do it to picture one day. But yeah, I don't know, who knows? Might never get the chance. Got paid though, so that's all good.
Well, there you go. That's the bottom line, isn't it?
Yeah. Indeed. Yes, there's Mike. That Prophecy patch is Eerie Comb String, but it's supposed to be eerie. So anyway, what's he playing with now? See, you're teasing me with your Hydra synths, and I'm just sat here all hydraless. Oh, rub it in.
Well, you got something there, surely.
Not well. I've got. Oh, hang on. I've got this. Yeah, that's good.
There you go.
The first PSN improv.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah.
Hey.
Oh no! Somehow I don't think that it's Tangerine Dream.
Yeah, and everybody's reach for the drum machine and
No, yeah. Some mad drum and bass thing comes in.
yeah, knocking it out.
Indeed. Well, that thing brings us nicely to to the end of the show. It's been a quiet one this week, as in news-wise, but
Yeah, well,
But
doesn't sort of like midsummer like this tend to be a bit
it
quiet
does.
anyway?
It's,
people are out using the gear that they were promoting for the first 6 months of the year.
Exactly. And everyone goes on holiday. I mean, this industry is mostly small businesses, isn't it? So
pretty much, yeah.
Hopefully they're all going to get some nice breaks and come back fully inspired and bring us new toys at great prices.
Yeah, we need a lot of we need a lot of new toys. We haven't got
Indeed.
enough.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we've got some good stuff to look forward to. OBX8 and Third Wave and a whole bunch of other stuff as well.
I'm probably going to be up all night messing with this Mac Studio, trying to get that sorted properly.
Yes.
Yeah, you'll have to give us like a lowdown on using the Mac Studio within your environment there.
Yeah, I will. Yeah, I mean, I've downloaded Cubase 12 now, so that's a new one for me as well.
Okay. I thought you had that before. No.
No, I had Cubase 11. My OS wouldn't let me upgrade to that. So I'm on that Monterey or whatever it's called now. Monterey,
yeah. Which is changing soon anyway, isn't it?
12 seems to be very much of muchness, much as it's pretty much like 11, really.
Yeah,
mm-hmm.
Yeah.
A bit more stable, maybe. I don't know. Yeah. I want to go back to Cubase 7. What can I say?
No, I think I had a thing a few years ago. I thought, maybe I should get back into Cubase, and now I'm thinking all the stuff I'm hearing about it. Yeah, maybe it was a good idea that I didn't. So I'm just finding. I think Logic is now really it for me.
Use what you're most comfortable with.
Yeah,
exactly. Yeah,
that's what it is.
It doesn't matter how often it crashes or how much of a pain in the butt it is to use. If you're comfortable using it.
Yeah. Although I keep reading people I was reading an article about Orbital the other day, and he's banging on. Is it Phil Hartnell? I can't remember now. But one of the members of Orbital, he's banging on about how great Ableton Live is.
Mm.
And I keep thinking, maybe I should just try it to see if it opens up a door for me. Excuse the pun.
Well, yeah, actually, it's not a bad idea. It might make you go down a road you hadn't thought of going down.
But then Logic has recently got this kind of clip launching thing, hasn't it? So, we come the army again. Yeah, I don't know. Because it's a lot of it's a lot. Yeah, it's 400 quid for the full version of Ableton Live.
Ooh.
But yeah, I hear lots of good things about it. But
yeah, well, it's up there with Cubase, then, isn't it, pricing wise? Which is about, what was it, 345 or 435 or something?
Something like that. Yeah.
Something like that.
Yeah. Ian says try the light version. I've got the light version. It's just that I always seem to kind of run out of, because it only gives you so many tracks. Maybe it's just that I'm not using it. Maybe I need to get a book or something and read a book about how to use it properly. I bought the course.
Sounds very
Logic.
dull.
Well, when I bought Logic, there was an offer on somewhere else for this complete Logic course, online course, lifetime access, and it was like 80 quid, I think. So I thought, I'll go for that, and then I can sit down, I can learn how to use this thing properly. And I think I did the first couple of chapters, which is like how to start Logic and how to set things up, and then that's it. I've just never bothered going back to it, and I really should.
This is a mouse.
Yeah. It's like the time when I used to teach in classes using computer software, and I said to the class, I said, so now click on the screen where it says something, and I turned around and I you not, there was a woman, and she'd got a mouse like this, and she was trying to click on the screen.
Oh no, oh dear.
And like everybody was looking at her, sort of, and you have to be really,
yeah.
You click, use your pointer. But yeah, it was funny.
Oops.
Oh dear. Anyway, so yeah, there we go. I think that's a show. I'm going to go and drink a bottle of wine now, I think, and get ready for my barbecue, which I found out earlier on. I thought, because when do you normally have a barbecue? Do you have it like lunchtime? Do you have it in the evening? Do you have it?
Well, I would have it in the evening, but Vicky seems to think it's like a early evening
lunch,
thing.
yeah.
Like you know, but from about 3 o'clock onwards, I'd start at 6, 7 o'clock.
Oh no, see, I'd start at like 1 or something because I think it's a make it my big my lunch, and then I can just like put my feet up for the rest of the day. But my son can't make it. He's working in the morning, so he's going to be around about 3. So by the time everything's kind of fired up, because I'm not going to light it until I know he's going to be here on a particular time. It's going to be like 4 or 5 o'clock, and I'm thinking, I've got to wait all that time for my burgers and my hot dogs or whatever it is that I've been given to cook. So, but no, it'll be the first barbie of the year. Would you believe it's halfway through July? I've not had a barbie yet.
Bad that.
No good.
We got one of them gas ones. It's not the same.
No, it's not. I had a gas one for
it's
years,
not the
and
same,
you just don't get the flavour, do you?
Nah,
Just don't get the
just
flavour.
might as well just cook it at house and take it outside on a plate.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, well,
No, I got rid of my gas one. I had, the big propane things, and then I just got a standard, it looks like an oil can, but it's not an oil can. It's that sort of thing.
Yeah.
Just chuck a bunch of charcoal. You buy those bags that you light the bag, and then the charcoal just kind of lights and then just falls out. Sorted.
yeah, well.
Don't do it in all this fancy stuff like the Americans do. My God, do they know how to do a barbecue?
Yeah.
Here we go. So.
No, I'm not going to do that. It's copyright strike.
Yeah. Anyway, gentlemen, it's been a pleasure.
Yeah.
As always.
As
It's been a nice change of pace, isn't it? Just the three of us chuntering.
It's a very relaxed show.
Yeah. Informal, relaxed, polite, well behaved.
Yeah.
Not on our best behaviour when we have special guests around.
No.
Not like next week when it's going to be really. I'm just going to sit here and just like press buttons. I'm not going to say anything. I'm just going to listen to this thing and look at it lovingly.
Yeah. I'll be pressing buttons as well. I am coming, aren't I?
I hope so. Oh, honestly, he's child with a new toy.
It's like it's relevant. It's like the early days of sampling all over again.
Yeah.
Oh dear. Anyway,
I'll get bored of that in a couple of weeks. Don't worry.
I hope so.
Well,
can you make it a bit sooner?
Couple as in 7-8 weeks.
Yeah. Have a fantastic weekend, and listen. I know you guys. You're in the UK. Anybody else that's watching that's in the UK, please. Certainly on Monday and Tuesday, look after yourselves, because look, we're not built for this kind of heat, and we're going to have 40 degrees, which is about 103 Fahrenheit. And I know there's going to be people saying, "Yeah, that's nothing. We have this and we have that," but we're not built for it in every single aspect of our lives. We as humans aren't built for it in the UK. Our infrastructure isn't built for it in the UK. So take care, look after your dogs. I dread to think what your AstroTurf is going to be like on Monday and Tuesday.
I'm not walking on that.
No, I would avoid
being
that
a barefooted person that I am.
It's going to be harsh. Thank you, Andy, for your donation. Much appreciated. Thank you for buy some hot dog buns. Yeah, the way the prices are going around here these days, that's probably going to buy me one.
Well, you won't get any lure pack on that.
Oh my word! It's not just the pack that's gone up, is it? It's everything. Oh, it's crazy.
Everything. Yeah.
But look, have a fantastic weekend. Don't forget, of course, as Mr. Wiggly has said, Nick Bat is on the Mr. Wiggly Show, 7 p.m. on Sunday. That'll be a fantastic one. Of course, prior to him, you've got Jamie, who starts. Is he starting at 5 now? I think. So he's got his show then, and then Dom. Of course, Rands is on tomorrow afternoon, 1 o'clock. I don't know who he's got on. I think Andy's going to be there, maybe Darren as well. Rands will be on tomorrow afternoon. And we'll be back next Friday with, of course, the VP1 special. So please don't forget that one. That's going to be an absolute belter with Dr. Manny Fernandez, Reinhold Heil, and Scott Kinsey, and of course the legendary Yamaha VP1. We'll be learning all about that next week, same time, same place as usual. Gentlemen, have a fantastic weekend, and look after yourselves. And
yourself.
We will see you soon. take care, everyone. We'll see you next week. Bye-bye.
Au revoir.